everyone. I am so sorry that there has been a very long delay with making videos. I have been so busy these past 4 months because not only did I have to deal with the holiday stress of getting everything ready and making sure that um, I was able to basically do everything that I wanted to do on my list of priorities. And not only that, but California has been having some issues lately with fires, and recently there was unfortunately a shooting that took place in the city that I live in. So yeah, it hasn't been a very overwhelmingly pleasant 4 months for me. Um, but despite all the negativity, that also caused a very big, I think, distraction. Um, and nonetheless, though, I will intend to catch up and be done with all of the videos that I intended to do. Now, you might be wondering, why in the world is she wearing mini ears right now? Well, I thought for this video it would be interesting to discuss a little bit about Disneyland and sort of review Disneyland because I've been trying to do more videos that focus more on my experiences, and a lot of things that revolve around my experiences have to do with going on vacations and doing fun little activities. And Disneyland is definitely a big activity, especially considering the fact that it is one of the most popular destinations within the state of California. And it's basically where everything started. So Disney World did not come first, it was Disneyland. Uh, so hence the mini ears, and not only that, it's sort of become like a thing now in Disneyland for everyone to wear ears, or at least some kind of hat resembling Disney. So I'm just kind of letting you guys know right now, you don't have to choose these kinds of ears. There's like plenty of different kinds of ears that you can choose from. But it's kind of become sort of a cultural thing now for people to wear their ears around the park as they go and experience it. So I'm trying to show you what the experience is kind of like by wearing these ears. Okay, so without further ado, Disneyland. Now, people say that this is the happiest place on earth. And I think that's kind of a little bit of an exaggeration because there is a lot of positive things about Disneyland, don't get me wrong, but there's also a lot of, I think, annoyances that people are going to find when experiencing Disneyland, and things probably they didn't initially expect to happen when they enter the park. So here are some things to, I think, consider, and I've not only been to Disneyland once, I've been several times. So I kind of understand and get a sense of what it is that could be helpful to people, at least who have never maybe even experienced the park. Um, I think the most important thing that I can advise people, especially if you're traveling from far away or out of state, get to the park early. The park usually opens, I believe, at 8 o'clock, so get there around the time it opens. That is the best time to go. So if that means that you have to have maybe a hotel night stay from where you're from to get to the park as early as you possibly can, then I would definitely recommend it. It really helps with the experience because you're not stressed out waking up in the morning and having to drive down through the traffic to Disneyland. So if you can pick a hotel that is close by to where the park is, I would definitely recommend that you do that because it'll make your day a whole lot less stressful. It'll allow you to get into the park way early, and it allows you to experience more of the park, I think, if you can get there as early as possible. Um, so that's just my personal experience. Now, they say that it does get very popular during the summertime. So not only would I not recommend going in the summertime to Disneyland because of that, but not only is it really hot during the summer, but you're going to have the lines during the summer because it is probably one of the most crowdedest times to go to Disneyland because there are long lines. Again, you can pay for fast passes apparently, but I don't think you want to pay, uh, you know, for whatever extra stuff that you want to pay for Disneyland because you're already paying a lot to go and experience Disneyland. So I would highly suggest not going in the summer. I think the best times to go are in the fall and winter. Um, and again, winter in California is not severe. Like, trust me, we only get like 70s and maybe some scattered showers throughout the winter time. I would not worry. You know, you're still going to enjoy the park, I think, even regardless if it's a little bit cloudy. You know, I think it's definitely a more comfortable environment to go in the fall and winter. And not only that, but if you go during around Halloween time, it's all decked out like Halloween. It's so awesome to see all the pumpkins and all the just fall leaves and just atmosphere. It's beautiful to go during the fall time. And it's even better to go during the winter time because you get all the lovely Christmas decorations and the magic and joys in the air. You know, just they really put in the extra effort around those times, I feel, as well, because you know those are the times of when the holidays are coming. So if you can go around those times, I would highly recommend you do so because it allows you to really get a more fulfilling, I think, experience. So, another important thing to understand about Disneyland is that it is expensive and it is even getting even more ridiculously expensive. So realize when you go to Disneyland, you're going to be spending a lot of money. Just come in with that understanding that this park and the experiences that it offers are expensive. Um, I think they upped the prices for the just the day pass for one park. I think it's in the 130s now, if I'm not mistaken. Um, so they are going up. They're making it a lot more expensive. Now, there could be a variety of reasons as to why this park is getting more expensive. Um, I think part of it has to do with the fact that they're trying to add in a whole section dedicated to Star Wars. That might be contributing to the cost increase. Um, Also, I think they plan on allowing alcohol within that section of the Star Wars land that they have going on, that they're going to open up. So that's probably adding in some extra costs and probably for making sure that hiring more people to kind of manage that area of the park. I could probably understand why that would also contribute to the increase. But I mean, I think a lot of the times too, Disney just determines, okay, if these people drop off because it's too expensive, it's not going to hurt our bottom line in the end. So I think it is unfortunate that it has gotten this expensive and it has gotten that ridiculous. Um, I really do feel like that there is some possible justification for it that I just highlighted, but at the same time, I do feel it is a little bit overboard and ridiculous for how much they charge you, not only for the park, but to eat there. Um, you know, souvenirs are also pretty pricey as well. Um, you know, these ears were at least over like $20 or something like that. So they are really upping the amount that they're charging for everything. So just an FYI, if you're planning on going, just realize that you're gonna spend a lot of money. That's just how this park and this place has been operating. Um, I would say more or less or after sort of the time Walt Disney passed away, it has gotten a lot more, I'd say, corporate-y in that sense about, you know, really charging people for every single little thing. So just be weary of that. And again, if you eat outside the park, there are options for people, but I would say that the price is probably um, as expensive probably as the park itself, but at the same time, I would say that the quality of food is probably superior than the park. So if you can eat in downtown Disney, and again, downtown Disneyland is not in Disneyland, it's just downtown Disney where they have like souvenir shops and they also have a lot of restaurants where you could eat. If you could eat there, I would definitely recommend trying one of the restaurants there over going to a restaurant in the park, because the park is just, I mean, they are going to charge you a hefty pay for everything. So just be wary of that fact. Now, what are the other things that I wanted to bring up? The one thing that I think is very important to highlight, sort of, at Disneyland is that everybody in the park is very friendly for the most part. Um, from the people who just dress up as the characters to the people who are just, managing the park however they are managing it, whether they be cleaning, whether they be serving food, whether it be um, uh, taking people around the park itself. You know, all the people involved within making this place special are really, truly special. They really do go out of their way to try to be nice to all the people that come into this park. Um, However, I will say that they do put more of an emphasis to people who are going for a special occasion. So if you're going to celebrate a birthday, if you're going because you recently got engaged, if it's some big occasion, um, they will definitely notice it, especially if you tell them. So, for example, if you go to the front of the park, there is this place where you can go to where they will provide you these pins, and these pins will say like different things. Like if you're getting engaged, it says we're engaged, or happily married, or something like that. Or if it's your birthday, it says happy birthday. And the people within the park will pick up on that really easily because they'll see that you're wearing the pin, and they'll say happy birthday, and they'll go out of their way to be extra extra nice to you. So if you don't really care about that, then I guess it doesn't really matter. But again, if you really want that extra special sauce of treatment, especially if you're going to be paying a lot of money, because again, Disneyland is very, very expensive, then it does pay to go when it is something special. So I would definitely recommend people doing that because it really does put a highlight onto your little vacation. Um, Not only is that part aspect of the park really nice, but the rides are awesome. I love pretty much all of the rides on Disneyland itself. They are some of them are intense, some of them are a lot more, kid friendly. There's just a lot of variety within the park, and you can kind of pick and choose what you want to experience. Um, but if you're a little bit older, like say my age, and you want to enjoy the bigger rides, definitely going to those rides first is key, because then you don't have to wait in the lines. And again, this is what I mean by coming early. Come when the park opens, have your ticket ready, go in and go on the rides. That's the easiest way, I think, to do it. Also, if you go on sort of an off day, like whether it be a weekday or if you go on a Sunday, in particular on Sunday morning, that's when I usually find that the park is not as hectic and crowded as well. So just those are kinds of the windows, I would say. I think Saturday is definitely the worst day you can go because that's when everybody wants to go. So just think of the days where nobody's going to be able to go or maybe not want to go, and you probably picked a good day to go. um, uh, The other thing, and again, this contributes, I think, to the good marketability of Disneyland, is the fact that it is very difficult to do the entire park within one day. And I'm just talking purely Disneyland. I've actually never been to California Adventure, so I can't say how exactly California Adventure works. But when you're talking purely Disneyland, there is a lot to experience in one day, and I don't think a lot of people get to experience the whole park in one day because there just are too many rides. There's too many lines, there's just too much within the park itself to really go and experience the entire thing. And again, this gives people a really big incentive to want to come back and want to have the experience again. So that's also something I think people need to recognize too, is that if you're coming from far away and you probably won't get to experience Disneyland in a way that's kind of more consistent in the same way that I've experienced it, then I would take it in as much as you can. If you can only go for one day, if you can go for multiple days, I probably imagine you could complete the entire park within 3 days. A 3 day roundabout at Disneyland could definitely, I think, get you all of the rides. But to do it all in one package day is very difficult to do. So I would just kind of, just do a little bit of research on your own just to think of what you really want to ultimately take away from the experience as far as the rides and the attractions, and see what it is you ultimately want to do, and then go and seek that out. Um, because again, it is very difficult to do all in one go. Unless again you're going to experience the park multiple days. Yeah, so there are some good side foods though that I'd say at Disneyland. You'll notice that there's a lot of Mickey type things like Mickey ice creams and Mickey pretzels, and things like that. And those are very good. Like, I think a lot of the side foods that Disneyland actually offers are pretty good in comparison to like the actual meals that you get in the park. Their Dole Whips are actually really good as well. I enjoy those a lot. but um, but I think that's really all of the things that I can ultimately say about Disneyland itself. Um, Again, it is a very enjoyable and I think rewarding experience to go. Uh, it really does bring the fun and the joy, and it's nice to see all of the little kids enjoying themselves and just seeing a little bit of happiness in this world, especially nowadays with all of this like doom and gloom constantly on social media and all around the news and the world. It's just nice to see and go to and experience this wonderful, innocent, happy place that just brings out the best, I think, within us. And I think a lot of that stems from the childhood innocence. And I think really Walt Disney wanted to create that kind of environment for people to kind of get away from the realities of life and adulthood, and let people experience things in a more innocent light, and in doing so really bring people together and have a lot of fun, and just forget the problems and all the issues that are going on within life. And I think that's something that's very important to do. And I think definitely going to Disneyland really brings out that kind of experience. So if you really want to explore that, I would definitely recommend going. Uh, and again, bring somebody with you, whether it be a friend, a family member, just just bring somebody along for the ride to enjoy the experience, because it makes it all the more fun and worthwhile. Just realize though that there are some things, like again, like I said, there are going to be lines, there are going to be, there is going to be a lot of energy going on. So just be aware of that, because again, there's a lot of kids, there's a lot of just people in general just walking around everywhere, and I can understand that some people that are a little bit more on the claustrophobic side would feel a little bit uncomfortable at times. But you know, if you just navigate your way through the park and just enjoy the experience and try not to pay attention too much of who else is around, then I think you'll do fine. But I think that's ultimately all I can say about this vacation experience of Disneyland. But if there are any questions, comments, concerns, I'd be more than happy to answer them. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a pleasant day, week, month, and year, and hopefully I can be caught up for making these videos. And again, I apologize for the delay. There just been, again, a lot of things going on, and a lot of kind of, you know, depressing things. But at the same time, now that all of that is kind of behind, not only me, but just the things that are kind of around me, you know, and the holidays are done and it's a new year and everything, I can really focus on getting on the right track. So thank you again, and have a pleasant day. Bye-bye.